Hi everybody, welcome to Golden Rosa. I've been wanting to do this reading for like a hot minute for myself, and I thought, why not just record it and then maybe someone else can benefit from it as well. And the topic I'm going to explore today is the topic of clarity. How do we become clear, and what guides do we have to help us become more clear? Because I think we all have in common that we only have X amount of energy every day, and we have goals, we have dreams, we have things we want to accomplish. We want to live our life in alignment with our true values and what we want for ourselves and our lives in the world. But it's hard to do that if we're not really, really clear on what it is we want. I did do a couple of videos on manifestation and our purpose recently, and they all kind of came back to this energy of clarity. Like, you have to get clear on what you want. But how do we do that? How do we get clear? And it's something that I'm exploring for myself right now, and working on manifesting within my own consciousness. So like I said, I wanted to pull some cards and get some guidance for myself, and hopefully anyone else who is interested in this topic. So yeah, let's just get into it. I'm using this deck that my brother got for me. I always love it when people I love buy me a tarot deck or an oracle deck, especially because they're not always a deck I would pick out for myself. But this one has very simple design. You'll see when I pull some cards. But I find this deck is very clear because it doesn't leave a lot of room for like flowery interpretation. It's just very straightforward. So it's like, this would be a good deck to work with. And thank you, brother, for the deck. So let's get started. Let's start off with some tarot. Just ask, dear spirit, will you please give us some guidance in form of tarot archetypes as to some ways that we can gain clarity within our consciousness? Thank you. I went like wanted to flip out and then it didn't, so we're just gonna keep going. Dear spirit, what are some tarot archetypes that can help us to obtain clarity within ourselves, clarity on our passions, our desires, clarity into what we're supposed to be doing here on earth, clarity as to our self-concept, clarity is where we can best spend our energy and time that we have. How can we see ourselves and the world around us as objectively as possible so that we can move through this life with a little more ease and a lot less energy expelled on things that just aren't serving where we want to go. Put it that way. Let's go ahead and get a couple more here. Dear spirit, which tarot archetypes can help us on the topic of clarity? All right. So in order, we got Temperance, we got the Magician, and we got the Seven of Cups. So Temperance is like the card, excuse the motorcycle in there. Temperance is a card of the energy of alchemy, essentially. It's showing these two cups that are pouring into each other. And In the traditional deck, it shows an angel who's pouring the cups back and forth, and the angel has one foot on dry land and one foot in the water. And it's about how do we get that perfect balance of things? How do we add just enough elements? How do we take away? How do we keep these cups even, and how much fluid they each have? And it's with the angel with the wings here, so saying it's a very simplistic deck in the illustration. So it's showing us wings, and the sense like the transcendence comes through balance, you know. So one thing we can do when we're looking at our lives is ask ourselves, are we in balance? Are we in balance between our head and our heart? Are we in balance between ourselves and the others? Are we in balance between what we want and the greater good? Are we in balance between the things we have to do and the things we want to do? You know, so clarity is found in that kind of middle ground, that still point where nothing is in excess and nothing is depleted, if that makes sense. So I think that's a really lovely card to come through for us. Next, we have the Magician, and in the traditional deck, it shows the magician at his desk, altar. I think his altar is more appropriate. And he's working with all the elements. He's working with earth, air, wind, fire, you know, all the earthly elements to make what he wants happen. You know, he knows he can do it because he has all the elements at his disposal. So this, I think, comes back to this temperance idea, which is that we have to make sure that we're using all of our facilities. You know, like we're going to have clarity when we have a sort of a combination of groundedness, imagination, emotional health, inspiration. I'm trying to think. Okay, grounded would be earth, inspiration would be fire, emotions would be water, intellect. Okay, I knew I was missing one. So and also our intellect, you know, that air element. So when we can have a balance between these four elements within us, when all elements are on the table and none are in excess or deficiency, we're going to feel a lot more clear. And the Seven of Cups is interesting that it comes up because it's the card of having a lot of options, of dreams, of illusions, of daydreams. So it can be a very productive card for sort of getting out of a sort of rut, or seeing things in a very stagnant or seeing things in a way that we've always seen them. But the problem with this card is like, oh no, there are too many possibilities. We have to choose one, right? And I like that this one card has the diamond over it, because my idea for the name of this video is shine bright like a diamond. You know, like a diamond is very clear, right? That's what makes it sparkle. That's what has this light emanating from it because of its clarity. And so we have to choose, like, what is our diamond? Like, out of all the options that we have, we got to make a choice, you know, like what is the most important thing for you, and like focus in on that and really kind of decide that, you know, we want this diamond over the crown of our ego. We want this diamond over, you know, just having a good time. We want this diamond over just excessive rest or disassociation or zoning out, you know. So it's having to make a choice and say, we're going to hone in on this. This is the precious thing to me. This is the thing I'm going to go all in on. Which of course is kind of like what, you know, what we're trying to figure out with this reading, right? So let's go into our elements. I'm going to go first to the animal apothecary. I'm just going to ask Spirit, what's your advice? What is a good tool for us to gain clarity? Um, it's funny because like I pulled that one. I was like, oh, I want to keep going. I want to get another message, and then the second message was like kind of similar to the first. So the first one is almost there, and then the second is you are about to shine. So for almost there, we have the fox. And there's a whole long story with the fox that's really cute, but for time's sake, because I've read it in other readings, I'm just going to skip ahead to the basic premise of this card. And it said, if there is something you yearn for in your heart and have been trying to achieve with little to no success, this is a profound confirmation that it is approaching. Be patient. There is wisdom in the waiting. This is the preparation time. You are gaining what you need to unite fully with what your heart desires. Endure, endure, endure. And the story of the fox is that he is trying to get to this light that he sees, and he's so depressed because it's on the other side of a stream, and he tries and he tries and he tries to cross over the stream, but the water's too deep, it's too big of a body of water. He's going to drown if he tries to jump into it. And then finally, when he kind of gives up, winter comes and the stream freezes over, and he finally gets his big break. He's finally able to run over the frozen water towards the light of the sun, I believe is what he's seeing. And he says, as he crossed the river with extreme care, it dawned on him that if he were little fox, he would have run boldly across the hard water without a care in the world, and could have been hurt or even killed. A shower of epiphanies began to rain on him. He realized that he had to go through all the seasons and learn all the lessons to be prepared to walk towards the light destined for him. As Big Fox finally crossed the great river, he thanked Mother Earth and Father Sky and understood that he had to wait to gain wisdom that prepared him for crossing the great river. Yeah, so sometimes when we're blocked from something, it can feel like we're not supposed to have it. And then we get confused. We go, oh, well, kind of back to the Seven of Cups energy. That's not working out. Maybe I should do this instead. Maybe I should, you know, not listen to my heart and listen to my intellect. Maybe I should not listen to my inspiration and be, practical. Um, Maybe there's a temptation to see our obstacles as like impossible. Like we're not gonna like get through to the other side. We're not going to be able to cross this river or this challenge. And the interesting message here is that it's through this like process of not never giving up on this thing that's really pulling you, because the little fox was so enchanted by like the light of the sun. And this is mythological, obviously crossing the stream is not going to actually take him to the sun, but there's something that's drawing him. There's something that's drawing him on a really deep level, and it just feels like he can't get to it. But finally he does. He finally makes it. And so it's interesting too, because this card also has the little light here. And I feel like the message from Spirit is like, whatever that thing is, that thing that sparks you up, that light, that thing that your soul can't let go of, that dream or that impression or that emotion, or this thing that haunts you, this thing that won't let you go, this thing that's there with you day and night, this sort of, I want to say obsessive, but it's more just like a nudging of your soul to go towards something. Like that's your diamonds, that's the thing that you need, not need, but you're gonna feel fulfilled if you hang in there and go for that, and not say, well, the fox could have said, it's never gonna happen. I'm just gonna dig my little den and go the opposite direction and find something else that's attainable. So that's what kind of what I'm gathering. Does that make sense? Like I said, I'm reading all this for myself too. So I'm not teaching so much as learning along with you. And then with the armadillo, we have the message of you are about to shine. Just as we see Armadillo wearing an armor of scales, this reinforces the idea of going inwards. The inward work is exactly what allows us to shine outward. This inner contemplation leads to a more brilliant inner light that will eventually be witnessed and felt by all. Armadillo says that what you have to offer will be recognized. Do not get bogged down with how and when. Do not get led by outside validation. Instead, be led by a greater consciousness that you were created from. Yeah, exactly. When we connect to our inner light, we connect to the source that created us. Armadillo's medicine asks you to create a very intimate relationship with that which created you. You are being asked to uplevel your daily prayers and create a dialogue with life. Drop all your wants and desires and create an intense conversation with the great mystery about receiving guidance to do what you were created to do. We all have special gifts that lie dormant within us, waiting to actualize. In this moment of deep connection to the great mystery, a mysterious energy begins to activate our gift. This conversation and prayer you create needs to feel very real. Prayer does not need to look one specific way. It is an intimate communion with that which you were created from. Start speaking to life. If you create this intense, mystical relationship with life daily, you will begin to witness yourself unlocking all your gifts. Life speaks back to those who speak to it, but it is your job to start the conversation. You are about to shine so brightly, but now is the before time when you must first ignite your gift of light, going inward and channeling the universe. Yeah, beautiful message. As far as gaining our own clarities, we do have to go inside. We do have to listen to our own internal guidance without any external noise or validation or trying to get permission from anyone else to do what we're doing. I feel that way with this channel, that I'm doing, because it's starting off very slow, um, but there's still part of me that's like, I want to do this. I'm not gonna like wait for the outside world to say, it's okay, you can do it. It's good enough or something. So we kind of have to go through that initiatory process with things, even when it's the right thing, because it's through that initiation that it hones our gifts. We have the car horn honking to confirm. So yes, beautiful messages. Thank you. We got all kinds of noise going on out there. We got helicopters. Right. So let's go down to the plant world. Our dear plant friends, can anyone please give us a message from the plant realm on how we can become clear? We got a ginkgo. I'm like debating. Yeah, I think I'll pull one more. I don't know. I don't want to make this reading super long, but let's see if there's one more plant that wants to come through for us. And black walnut. All right. Oh wow, this is crazy. Okay, remember in the fox card, the message was endure, endure, endure. So the first thing it says is ginkgo endures. Ginkgo embodies an understanding of what can be lasting. Ginkgo is the memory keeper, the bricklayer of our foundation, the stone in the stream, tumbling to a smooth beauty. We pass through life. We have millions of experiences, large and small. We retain these memories in different parts of ourselves in various ways, and these memories become activated or lodged in our bodies, our decision making, and our intuition. Our memories change as we change, and the information they contain of what is fundamental about our nature also morphs as we do. Ginkgo is an ally for tapping into the annuals of time to the most ancient library of living and memories harbored by the oldest forms of life. If you need a bridge to your ancestors, to before them, and before that, Ginkgo connects us to the oldest lineage imaginable. If you seek to understand something of where you come from and what has come previously, or to connect with the cycles of evolution, death, and reawakening, Ginkgo is waiting for you. And I skipped through a little bit here for time's sake, but it says the ginkgo tree has lived essentially biologically unchanged for 200 million years. They have lived through eras, epochs, and eons. And so I think it's saying, like, in reference to clarity, is trying to see ourselves in the largest possible way. You know, that we're ancient souls, we're eternal, we're connected to this, like, huge morphic field of spirit guides and ancestors and higher knowledge and higher wisdom. And part of being clear on ourselves is being clear of just how vast we are, you know? When we're looking at our life and trying to figure out, like, what we're going to do and what's important to us, we can't do that from our small selves, right? Or we could, but our small selves, and by our small selves, I mean specifically our ego, our conscious mind, our, overly rational self, is probably not going to pick the path for us that's the most fulfilling. Is going to pick the path for us that's the most safe, And what gives us the courage, and what gives us the inspiration, and what gives us the, quite frankly, the audacity to do something bigger, is to remember how big we actually are in our spirits. We're not here to play small. We're not here to just kind of settle for something that's safe-ish or okay-ish or good enough. And even if the thing that really lights us up is a process, an initiation, and it's difficult and it takes time, that is worth it, right? So when becoming clear on who we are and what we want, don't play too small. I think that's the message here. And we got the black walnut. And it says, ladder to the stars. The crones, the elders, and the wise ones turn to black walnut for situations that require the most delicate and discerning advice. Black walnut is a canopy tree growing straight and tall towards the light. It's funny, towards the light, like the fox. With wood that is dense and beautiful. This tree has long been an ally to humans, providing food, medicine, building materials, and dye. But while black walnut is generous and dignified, they are also the discerner and the expeller. Black walnut is allopathic, meaning they produce a chemical that can make it difficult for many plants to grow around them. Black walnut is a model for choosing what you surround yourself with and removing or cutting ties with that which does not serve you. So that's reminding me back of the Seven of Cups energy, that we have to make choices in life. We have to cut away what's not serving us, what's taking our energy and not producing any fruit. Black walnut asks you for your conviction and the sense of truth that is uniquely and only yours. Black walnut asks you for courage to look around and decide. Make the hard choice to drastically change if you must, to unravel your ideas of what you thought would or should happen. If you're feeling tied to the expectations of others, or if you fear disappointing or impacting those around you at the cost of your own well-being, Black walnut will not forsake you. Black walnut says, doubt cannot guide you. Trust in what you already know to be true. Perhaps you are tied to a story that began a long time ago, from before. That reminds me of this card of, like, how ancient we are. So these pullings that we feel in life, sometimes they don't always make sense to our conscious mind and the world we live in. on the surface, it's something so deep from your soul and this bigger part of you that you have to tap into in order to understand, like, where is that coming from? Perhaps you're guided by anger, resentment, jealousy, or confusion. If this is the case, it's time for you to get to know Black Walnut. It's time for you to cultivate a willingness for everything to be different. So, yeah, I love these two plants coming through for us, because one is the expansion of our consciousness, that we are so much larger than we realize, and the other is this sort of pruning energy. You can see she's pulling off this leaf here to say it's this temperance, right? It's both, and it's both the expansion of who and what we are, and the pruning away of what doesn't serve us, other people's voices. um, the worst thing is to try to start something new and then have the people in your life say, yeah, I don't think that would work, or what about this, or you started off and it's a failure, like the fox trying to cross the river. It takes a long time for him to cross the river. So yeah, thank you, beautiful plants, for these messages. Let's go now to the crystal kingdom. Say, our dear crystal friends, what would you like to teach us about clarity on our path, about finding our unique light, our unique way through life, our unique gifts and offerings to this world, following the path that is true to our soul? What message do you have for us today? Yeah. Definitely the world's worst shuffler, but the shape of these cards makes it a little extra tricky too. Coming out. All right, Spirit, please give us a clear message here from the spirit world of the crystals. Lovely. I just love, I just had to flip this over so you could see this beautiful, almost diamond-like illustration of a calcite. So our crystal friend for clarity is calcite. Keywords are amplify, cleanse, and open. And it says double trouble. Calcite has a unique optical quality. When you're looking through a stone, it appears doubled. Calcite can amplify energy for higher awareness and healing, pairing well with other crystals and taking on their attributes to increase their metaphysical abilities. A powerful dissolver, calcite transforms negative energy for release and renewal. It also aligns the chakras, cleansing the aura of toxicity and renewing energy flow. Calcite reminds you that there is always a new beginning. You just have to decide where to start. So yeah, I think that's really cool, because it reminds me very much of the plants. It's kind of the same message, right? Because it's saying on one hand you want to amplify your higher awareness, this awareness of your larger soul, and then you also want to release and cleanse yourself of any toxicity. And toxicity can just mean energies which are not helping you get to where you're trying to go, and that's what it's saying with other people's doubt or judgment, or your own self-limiting beliefs, etc. So same energy basically is that you have to expand and also prune, amplify, cleanse, and open. All right, and I think that is such a beautiful card there, going with our diamond theme. And let's go next to alchemy. Let's get a card for alchemical process. And we'll ask our patron saint of alchemy, Hermes Trismegistus, so please give us a alchemical process that can help us obtain clarity. Thank you. And these are, I was saying that the crystal ones are hard to shuffle because of the shape, and then these are like 3 times as bad because they're the same shape but like 3 times bigger. Dear Spirit, please give us an alchemical process to help with our clarity, and please help me to shuffle these cards. Thank you. Very interesting. We got 2. Seems to be the theme of today. 2s of everything. So we have chaos and we have the alchemical wedding. All right. Chaos. Disorientated, spinning, and groundlessness. When an alchemist sits in their laboratory amidst the presence of chaos, something miraculous is bound to occur. That's because this state, is so powerful and all-encompassing that it typically overwhelms the student to the point of despair. Such is the nature of chaos. It is the grand trickster, the topsy-turvy confusion that turns life on its head and spins a web not even the wisest mystic can entangle. Baffling, yes. Disorientating, yes. But the seasoned alchemist recognizes it as the most potent point in the alchemical experiment. Wait, observe, do nothing. It is destiny itself that spins the web. Clarity will emerge, one strand at a time. Your only task is to breathe. Do not struggle. The 3 fates hold you in their sights as you free fall towards freedom. And yeah, I think that's such an interesting card to come through because sometimes it's so funny we're asking for clarity here, but sometimes what's truly meant for us feels like chaos. You know? It doesn't always come wrapped in a neat bow, you know, like that. And that's what, to circle back to this, larger story of our soul. Oh, I just noticed. That was funny. There's this like ribbon pattern here and here and here, and kind of here. For what it's worth, I don't know if that's connecting a dot for anybody. Oh, you know what? I think it is like it's saying like our bigger soul is like the original pattern, right? Our soul, unfettered from the ego, unfettered from fear, unfettered from outside sources, has this vibrational imprint, and then it's coming into the material realm, and it's showing up here. It's like this thing that you can't deny. It's this pull, it's this story, it's this thing that wants to be told for you. It's a gift that wants to be shared, it's something that wants to materialize. But in the realm of our conscious mind, it feels like chaos. It's as the cards say, this is destiny itself that's spinning the web. It is the true path can feel very chaotic to our day-to-day thinking. It can feel very chaotic when you look at our society and how we're expected to show up and what we're expected to do to survive in this world. It can feel like the complete opposite of being rational or reasonable or safe, So don't discount what feels chaotic. If you're feeling this energy pattern over and over and over in your life, this pull, this tug, these signs, these synchronicities, no matter how chaotic it feels, consider that it could be coming from your highest self, and take that time to tune inward and say, is this the source? Is the source myself of this pattern that feels so chaotic? And so what my mental mind thinks is right or true or how things should be. Next we have the alchemical wedding. Ritual, celebration, and uniting. All hail the alchemical wedding. The laboratory morphs into a dreamlike dance floor, and all your allies, fellow alchemists, and ancestors are here to witness the celebration. What was once lost has been found, and what has once denied has come fully into the alchemist's embrace. Right? Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, when we deny that inner prompting, now we're embracing it. The work is often felt as serious and studious, but the alchemical wedding is a moment of levity and lightness. When this card arrives, it is of utmost importance to mark the occasion. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Honor and acknowledge those that have helped you along the alchemical path. You have come so far. Energy radiates from this uniting of opposites and the redrawing of life's blueprint. The new form has arrived. The unknown has become known. You'll be back to your existential queries and tinkering ways in no time. Now the work is to revel in the miracles. It says the alchemical wedding is a radical act of presence and acceptance. Do something spontaneous today without rules, books, spreadsheets, social media, or schedules. Oh yeah, so the alchemical wedding is like it's the merging of the opposites. It's when you become whole within, when you are both, light and dark, and feminine and masculine, and logical and emotional, and you become this whole and unified being within yourself. Kind of back to the temperance card here, how we're combining the opposites until it just becomes one whole thing, and that whole thing transcends what came before. So that is the goal, right? The goal is to reach this state of like we're bringing spirit into our matter, and we're uplifting our matter back to spirit. And now we're like fully unified within ourselves. And that's the ultimate goal of the alchemical process. That would be where we have the ultimate clarity of being the divine human. Something like that. All right. So let's get a couple of our ascended masters to weigh in here. Let's go first to Merlin. And dear Merlin, do you have a message for us today about becoming whole within, becoming clear, becoming integrated with our spirit and body, mind and soul and heart? Oh, very cool. We have harmony, unify, and balance. How perfect is that? Yep. Harmony refers to the state in which there is an agreement or pleasing arrangement of parts. For instance, in music, art, and architecture, even life itself always moves towards achieving balance and harmony. One only has to look at sacred geometry as a fundamental architecture at the core of everything in nature to realize the breathtaking harmonious expression it gives rise to. In connection to human interaction, we talk about harmonious relationships when people get along and have found balance with each other, and importantly, when their individuality contributes to the sum of their relationship. Just like the individual singing voice can join together in a beautiful and ear-pleasing unification, most of us seek to harmonize with others to expand beyond our individual expression. Our individual state of being derives from balance and harmony between our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual parts. The core of our journey here on Earth is the quest to find that harmonious state of being, expressed both in an inner balance as well as in the outer one in relationships with others. The multidimensionality that is rapidly saturating our everyday lives and reality is showing us that everything and everybody is connected. We truly are all one, and we are collectively moving into a oneness consciousness. This new reality is one where all voices contribute to the harmony of the world. Like no other, a modern musician is in tune with all that is, to harmonize all the different dimensions and layers of reality, to be in powerful co-creation with the divine. And that's such a beautiful message, because it shows us how this goes beyond our own plight to find our own purpose and our own way, is that it's necessary for us to sing that inner song of our own soul, to be in this perfect harmony and to be in this perfect dance and resonance with the greater whole, you know. So even if it feels like we're really striking out and going our own way and not you know, sort of bowing down to what society thinks we should be doing, we're actually serving the greater good by becoming clear, by finding who we truly are and what message we have for the whole. And by message I just mean, like, what is that frequency, that vibration that we're meant to bring into the whole. So it's interesting, we have to sort of drown out the outside voices to find our true voice, and it's our true voice that harmonizes with the whole. So okay, that makes sense. So I'm just going to take a couple more here. I want to get a card from Lilith. Dear Lilith, do you have a Lilith? Was the first wife of Adam, and they went their separate ways because Lilith did not want to submit to Adam and be lesser than him. So yeah, it was not an alchemical wedding between Lilith and Adam, because she wanted to be equal, you know. So she has a lot to share with us about standing our grounds and being in an internal harmony. So dear Lilith, do you have a message for us on this topic of clarity? Lilith is a really great guide for helping us to release our limitations too, you know. So if we're feeling like the outside world is sort of dampening our spirits, or that we feel like we can't do things because, oh, what are other people going to think, or kind of feeling overly shy, you know, she can help us with that. So our message for us today is calcination and the dark night of the soul. I'm like, I want to create a sense of harmony. Here we go. I'll do it like this. Okay. Calcination and the dark night of the soul. This card represents the straw that broke the camel's back. It's the spark of internal grief when your partner lies to you for the upteenth time, or the anger that comes from the snide remark from a toxic boss. You have finally had enough of the traffic heading downtown and now have the fierce motivation to move to a new city. Calcination in alchemy occurs when you have finally have a reckoning with that which is no longer in alignment with you. Yeah, that's what this is all about, right? Is like getting down to that pure essence of like what your soul thing really is. Um, this feels uncomfortable and like an intense dark night of the soul. Your ego feels unsupported by your reality, and you must experience a metaphorical death to be reborn. You can relate to this, to the occult symbolism of the phoenix. When this card pops up in a reading, it's time for you to metaphorically burn it all down so you can be reborn. Calcination is the first step of the practice of alchemy associated with the lead planet Saturn, where you start and work your way inward toward the gold of the sun. It invokes the fire element linked in the divine masculine zodiac sign of Aries. It is the practice of burning and adding heat to material or a solution to strip it down to its original state. A difficult life event, challenge, or roadblock can trigger you to begin this sacred process of soul ascension. While this is the beginning of your alchemical journey, it's extremely necessary step to progress into higher states of consciousness. The calcination phase, the shadow work. You can integrate the first step of calcification by identifying what should be purged in your life. Take a moment to journal your thoughts and emotions during this process. Prepare for an ego death or shedding of your old self. Allow the ashes to fall away so that all your true self remains. All right. Lilith does not mess around. She's like, if you want to get clear, you have to burn away all that is not true. All that is not true for yourself, all that is not true, to your voice, to your gifts, what you're here to represent. She's literally saying, light a match and burn it down. Like, you can't get to the clarity when you have all these outside voices and all this mental confusion and all this sort of watered down like avenues where your energy is going into things that aren't really serving your greater soul. So yeah, she is very to the point. And yeah, sometimes sometimes it is the in the darkest night that we see the light of the stars. It's in the darkest night that we have to come back to this larger self, to our soul, to see what's really true, what really is going to stand after the fire, and build from there and go from there. So, for sure, a big lesson in clarity from Lilith. Thank you. And let's finish off here with one more card. We're going to do the White Light Oracle. And dear spirits of the white light, what would you teach us about having clarity, about how to be clear, how to feel clear? Dear Spirit, what is your final message to us tonight about the topic of clarity? Thank you. And we have Mandala of the Heart. And I'm just going to... I know I don't get a lot of views at this moment in time, but I don't want to get in trouble for the fact that this card is a little bit underdressed for the occasion. Okay. So we have these cards also reference different healing frequencies. So this one is working with the energy of 528 hertz. So that's something you can do, is listen to that. Healing frequency, YouTube has a lot of videos of different healing frequencies. The message is, sometimes aspects of our life fall apart or don't go to plan. This is so they can come back together in a beautiful new way. Trust in the goodness, in the inevitable blessings of your destiny falling into place. Do not trust your fears. Put your faith in the love of your heart. A heart-filled wish is going to manifest. Love is the path to transformational. Love is the path to the transformational, the alchemical, and the miraculous. It is the means by which our negative patterns are reversed, and the original purity and beauty of our innate spiritual perfection can manifest itself in all dimensions, including the physical. The heart has access to a wisdom more powerful than logic, which can overcome any obstacle. To enter that wisdom, we have to trust in something greater than our own opinions and our own allegiances to our history. Your heart is more connected to the universal heart. Oh, your heart is more than connected to the universal heart. It is a holographic emanation, part of the sacred mandala of the divine feminine heart, and as such holds divine genius and power. It wants to manifest that which is evolving, new, inspired, and beautiful. To believe that history must repeat itself, or that what we imagine is the limit of what can happen, is to deny the power of the heart and the generosity of divine grace. We need radical lovers and inspired dreamers who dare to invite in the most outlandish, blessed interventions of the universal heart for all beings. You have it within your heart to be one of those prayer alchemists for humanity. In a reading, this oracle affirms that honoring deep soul bonds and sharing healing with your tribe is, as, is an important facet of your purpose. You have the power of love in your heart. It is the healing spiritual glue that can bring people together for a higher purpose. It inspires others and generates positive energy to lighten the emotional loads that all souls carry. When this card appears in your reading, you're put on notice that the divine feminine has a vision for your soul and is organizing events accordingly. She will guide you through your heart, and with her protection, the manifestation of your soul path is assured. All right, very beautiful message that, yes, the most important key in finding clarity in our lives is to follow our hearts, right? Our hearts are the stargate to our souls, to this higher self. And this little guy that is acting as a wardrobe is a citrine crystal, and that's also a very good crystal to use to help with a state of clarity. I'm just going to throw that out there because it had a reason to step forward. All right. I hope this reading has helped you become a little more clear in your higher purpose. And I'm sending you so much love, light, and power on your path.